Hello, welcome to a book haul video. I love filming book haul videos because it gets me so excited to read all the books I have on my TBR. And these are all my Christmas books, and there are quite a few of them. I haven't actually counted. Hang on, I'm gonna count. Okay, there are 20 books here. There's actually 21, but I'm not hauling one of them because it's a book for walks around my local area and I don't really want to share exactly where that is, but that's a really nice one I'm going to be utilising tomorrow. So 20 books. This isn't actually all books that have been bought for me. Hang on, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 of them are books that have been bought for me, and I bought 4 in the Waterstones 50% off hardback sale, so I'm going to include those in this little Christmassy haul. This is by no means meant to be a bragging video. I know people really enjoy watching hauls, I really enjoy watching them, and I just thought it'd be fun to film. I am of course incredibly grateful for any friends that have sent me books off my wish list. It means the absolute world to me. I am so excited to read them. So a lot of these are Christmas presents from friends, a couple of them are from you guys, so thank you so much. Let's get into the haul. I've just realised there's actually 22 books in total, including that one that's walk specific locations around my area. One of them's over there, it's not in my pile, so I'm gonna grab that one. But there's 22. There's more than I thought. Okay, 22 books. 17 of them are Christmas presents, but we're going to be looking at 16 of them and then 4 that I bought myself. So let's start with the ones my mum bought me. My mum is super good at picking me out books. I never give her like a TBR or a wish list. She just kind of picks things she thinks I would like. It does always, I think, come with the slight fear that I'm going to already have it because I do have quite a lot of books. So the first one I've actually already read, and that is Starve Acre by Andrew Michael Hurley. This is pretty short. It was a folklore horror. It was very dark, very interesting and very unique, and I really enjoyed it. But this one, the cover is so striking. It's a red hare on a white background, so it's very bold and standing out, but I also love the fact that we have quotes around the side of the pages, which is really cool. So this one definitely felt very unique. The writing was beautiful and I think it was a great pick. So this is the first book that my mum bought me for Christmas. Then she bought me Frederick Backman's My Grandmother Sends Her Regards and Apologies. I do actually own 2 Frederick Backman books already, but I haven't read them yet. And this is one that I did not own. It's also so floppy, and I'm going to be trying to read this one in January. It's on my TBR, so I'm super excited about this one. It looks very wholesome and lovely, and it is all about the relationship between a grandmother and her granddaughter who thinks she is her superhero. The blurb, the top part of the blurb says, to most people, 7-year-old Elsa's granny is eccentric if not crazy. To Elsa, she's a superhero with a superpower like no other. Storytelling. And I love this because it's going to be such a lovely wholesome story already, I can tell, and I think this is just going to be Elsa's grandmother sitting down and telling her stories, which sounds perfect. The next book I am currently reading, and that is Little by Edward Carey. This I didn't realise when I first started it, but have now realised is a kind of an origin story for the woman who created Madame Tussauds. This is her story in a fictionalised adaptation, and it's really interesting. It's all about how she kind of got into creating the wax figurines and the start she had in life, which was not an easy one. It's very interesting. This is again one that my mum just came across, and the cover is fascinating. It's got all the sketches all around it that are then to be created into the wax items, and they continue throughout the book as well. So there's some pretty creepy ones actually. There was one, I'll see if I can find it, that I've already come across. It was just a guy's face really big in the page, and it was definitely kind of haunting. So this is already proving really interesting. I'm 65 or so pages in, dot on 65 pages, and I love it. I love the perspective that this character takes in seeing other people around them. They really have a unique view, which I suppose makes sense given who they become. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. Then my mum bought me A Spotter's Guide to Countryside Mysteries by John Wright. This is a really beautiful book, and it basically details different things you can see when you're out and about in the countryside and what they are. So like different elements in fields or different fixtures around, like fencing, like when you can jump over fences, what all those things are called, and different things you would see in the countryside. I live in the countryside. I love going for walks in the countryside. As I said, my mum also bought me a book about walk locations around me, so these kind of fit into getting out and doing more, which is one of my resolutions for this year. So this is really lovely, and it's got little illustrations throughout it as well. She says not being able to find any illustrations, they're photographs. It's got photographs throughout it as well, and it just is going to help me learn a bit more about the environment around me and a bit more about nature, which I absolutely love. My mum also got me this, which I am so happy about. This is Lonely Planets, Where to Go When, and this is a trip planner book. Basically details places you can go and when the best time to go to them is and what you should see whilst you're there. It's absolutely beautifully laid out, but also just makes me so desperate to travel. Corsica. Oh, it just looks stunning. It's not like exclusively outside of the UK either. There's some places within the UK, which is exciting. So I am really looking forward to picking some places from this that I want to visit within the next few years, because again, my main New Year's resolution is to live more and stand still less. So this is really going to help, and my mum knows that, and that's why she bought it for me. The next one is from Ava, and it is a little activity book. It is the I Used to Know That activity book, stuff you forgot from school. So this basically asks you questions about things you should have learned at school and have probably forgotten, which is going to be really interesting to see how much of this I can still remember. So I'm quite looking forward to doing this. I love quiz shows and anything like that, so this is perfect. So those are all the books from my family. Now moving on to the books from friends. So first up, I have got Fence Volume 4. This is a really fun series about a group of people being, or trying to be on the fencing team for their school, and I just love it. This is the 4th one, the one I'm like next up to read. I've read the first 3, obviously this is the 4th. I've read 3, this is the one I haven't read yet, and I'm really looking forward to continuing on with this story. Also, I don't currently own, well now I do, didn't currently own any of my graphic novels I hadn't read yet, so I didn't have any on my TBR, so it's nice to be able to have a graphic novel there, because sometimes you just need to dive into a graphic novel. Then I got The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I have heard a lot of good things about this one, that is why I added it to my TBR. It's so shiny. This, from what I know, is a fantasy about a merging of worlds between humans and monsters, so I'm very intrigued. This kind of sits in my head along the same line as something like Mina and the Undead, which I really enjoyed, so I'm really hoping I love this one too. Another kind of resolution, I don't know if it is or not yet. I'm gonna do a whole video on this if it's not already live, so there will be more. But something I want to do more is read slowly, read more classics, and one of the ones I wanted to read is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. So I added this one to my wish list. I'm collecting all of these classic editions. Are these like the Penguin classic cover thing? I don't even know what it's called. Penguin English Library, that's the editions of these. So this one is super short, which makes it feel a little bit less daunting to me. I have seen the film of this, so all I know about this one is that there is a picture that ages instead of Dorian Gray himself aging, so this is obviously going to be about vanity and power. I'm excited to give this one a go. I nearly put this on my January TBR, but it didn't quite make it, but I'm very much wanting to get to this one soon. I'm really excited about this next one because it really reminds me of a book I read the year before, I don't even know, 2020. It was called The God Game by Toby, and it was all about a game where people had like their lives at stake, and there was an AI involved, and it got much more than a game and became very, very serious. And this reminds me a little bit of that. So this is Black Chalk by Christopher J. Yates. This follows a game between 6 students, and I think the game like ends and they go off and live their lives, and yeah, 14 years later the remaining players must meet again for one final round. So this sounds very interesting. I think it's dark academia and thriller-esque, and it just sounds like it's going to be very gripping. It's not too long, and usually I think with books like this they are constant action because there isn't many pages to get all the action into, so it just feels all the more high stakes, which I'm very, very ready for. Every time I film a video like this, my camera battery flashes at me. I promise I put a new battery in every video, but apparently they do not last very long, so excuse me, and I apologise for the camera angle change. I return with a new battery and a new camera angle, most likely. Okay, next up I have got Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergey Diachenko. This looks really interesting. The blurb says the story is expressed through a distinctly Russian voice and is an astonishing story that will transport the reader to a place far beyond imagining. This follows Sasha, who has to gain these coins to get access to the Institute of Special Technologies. And this is no ordinary school. I think there's magic involved in here. I think it's quite dark. I'm very excited. This one sounds really cool. I need to stop saying I'm excited because of course I'm excited to read them all. Then I have got Dark and Shallow Lies by Ginny Myers-Sane. This is a thriller featuring a missing girl in a small town. This sounds right up my street. I love a good thriller, especially with like a missing person type of storyline. I just find them so gripping. So I was about to say, so I'm very excited to read this one. Oh god, I just say the same thing, don't I? So I think this one sounds very interesting, and I look forward to discovering what the story has to offer me. Then we have got The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. This is so floppy for such a big book. Like, it's not even staying shut. Like, I'm so excited. I think I'm gonna annotate the crap out of this one. My mum has been telling me I need to read this for ages and trying to thrust her copy onto me, so I decided I would get my own so I can annotate it, because I wouldn't feel, oh I nearly hit myself in the face with it, because I wouldn't feel right writing in her copy. Saying my mum's recommended me this one for many years means I probably should know what it's about. All I know is this is some sort of a link to Bram Stoker's Dracula Dracula, so I'm just going to take a look at the blurb. Okay, so this follows a young woman who discovers an ancient book in her father's library, and this book plunges her into a world she never dreamed of, where she discovers an evil hidden in the depths of history. I assume this is going to be, of course, where the link to Dracula comes in. Very excited to read this one. Is this Dark Academia? Have I just hauled like a load of Dark Academia books here? I don't know, but it's so floppy that that is my real main appeal here. Obviously the floppiness. I said I was excited to read it again, didn't I? Should just do a tally. Obviously I'm looking forward to reading them all. But this genuinely is one that's been on my radar for a long time, so I think my mum will be pleased to hear I'm finally gonna read it. Next up is How We Fall Apart by Katie Zayo. This on the back says one of us is lying meets crazy rich Asians in this addictive thriller debut from Katie Zayo. I love a good YA thriller. I am going off YA a little bit, but YA thrillers just bring me right back in because they are so action-packed, so fast-paced. I mean, generally I just love any thrillers, but this one just sounds really intriguing. It follows a couple of different characters who are the kind of stereotypical roles you might see in these kind of books. They all have their secrets and someone is threatening to reveal them, so I think this is about trying to work out who's threatening them and how they can stop them. It says it will keep me guessing until the very deadly end, so I'm already gripped by the blurb, to be honest. This next one is a witch origin story and I love the sound of it. This is The Witchhaven by Sasha Peyton Smith. This follows a young woman who is in a predicament that she can't quite explain, thinks she's gonna get arrested for something, and then suddenly some people turn up and take her away to, I think, this school where she is told she's a witch. So we get this journey of her discovering her magic and getting used to this new world. I love stories like this so much. Wow, can you hear the rain? That's heavy. I was meant to go for a walk today and I decided not to wait until tomorrow. Good decision. Anyway, this sounds really great. This next one sounds so magical and so perfect for this time of year. It is The Winter Garden by Alexandra Bell. This one is all about a special magical garden that our main character finds once and it disappears, and she decides she's going to try and find it again. And I think there's some kind of competition or game that's linked to it. There's a prize that has a life-changing wish, and our main character receives an invitation to take part in this game. This sounds absolutely beautiful and perfect for this time of year. It's obviously called The Winter Garden, so I do want to get to it within the winter. I did want to get this on my January TBR, but I wasn't quite able to, so if I do finish that earlier, I will try and read this within January, but if not, definitely February. I've been told this one is written really beautifully and I have very high expectations for it because I've heard many good things. It's kind of giving me the same level of excitement that Midnight and Everwood did with the kind of seasonal beautiful writing, and I am ready for it. The last one I got from friends is Two for Joy, which is the second book in the Magpie Society by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch. Now this series is not brilliantly written, it's not a masterpiece, it's nothing like that, but it is good fun, and the last one ended on a cliffhanger like no other, so I have to read this one to find out what happened. It was like literally, you thought you were gonna get a conclusion, then the book ended, which was, I just really need to know what happened from the last one, so I'm gonna read this one I think quite soon because I just need the conclusion to that story. Okay, these next four are the ones I bought in the WATERSTONES 50% off hardbacks sale. So first up, I got How to Kill Your Family by Belle and Mackey. This is one I've seen about the place quite a lot. It's beautiful, this edition. This is the WATERSTONES exclusive edition, and this follows our main character who is in prison for a crime she did not commit, but there are things that she has done that she should be guilty of, and that involves killing her family, which is not great. Or she's either planning to or she's already killed them. Has she killed them yet? She's in jail for a murder she didn't commit. I don't know if she's actually killed her family or she's planning to, but basically not great, but I'm intrigued. I feel like this one comes with a warning, if my family see me reading it, that it is not a guidebook, it is a fiction. Then I bought myself A Bookshop in Algiers by Kayutha Adimi. This I'd seen around quite a bit and I really wanted to give it a go because it looked really lovely and like a celebration of books and bookshops and the power of stories, and that is exactly what the blurb promises it to be. I love this quote on the back from Nick Hornby. It says, if you're in a bookshop browsing, then A Bookshop in Algiers is for you. By definition, a beautiful little novel about books, history, ambition, and the importance of literature to everyone, especially people who are trying to find a voice. And I just thought that was lovely, so I wanted to give this one a go. Second to last, we have got Natasha Brown's Assembly. This is again super short. I didn't deliberately buy two very short books within this haul from WATERSTONES, but this one looks really interesting and I've seen quite a few people review this one and say it was very poignant. I'm gonna read you the last paragraph because it gives you a list of all the kind of different things this talks about. Assembly is a story about the stories we live within, those of race and class, safety and freedom, winners and losers, and it is about one woman daring to take control of her own story, even at the cost of her life. I am really intrigued to see how this one plays out because I think This follows a narrator who is going to a dinner party, and it's the kind of process she goes through to get ready for that. And I don't know if it's actually her at the dinner party as well, but it's incredibly short, so I'm really intrigued to see how this story plays out. This is one that's also on my January TBR. I don't know what order these videos are going live in, so you may have already seen this, but this one will hopefully be one that I will be reading this month. And lastly, we have got Cloud Cuckoo Land by Anthony Doerr. I have seen this one in shops several times. Several times I have looked at it because that cover is really intriguing and very beautiful, and then I have put it back down again. And something made me buy it when I saw it in the sale. It's heavy, it is big, it is 600 and something pages, and it's on my January TBR. I don't even know what it's about. It's libraries, I know that much, but the blurb is one of those blurbs where you read it and you're like, what? I think this follows multiple different characters, maybe in multiple different timelines. I don't even know, but I'm going to be reading it this month, and I'm a little scared but also quite excited because this is definitely pushing me out of my reading comfort zone, which is what I want to do a lot more of. There we have it. That's all of my Christmassy hauled books. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm now surrounded by a pile of books, but I can now put the books away. I've been waiting to film this so I can put them away. I need to log them all on Goodreads and Storygraph on my TBR because I cannot decide which platform to use, so I'm using both. So I need to sort that out, but I'm excited to find places for them on my shelves, although slightly scared about that prospect as well. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, comment down below what you got for Christmas, subscribe to see more of my face on your feed, and down below you can find links to my Patreon where I'm going to be soon, or may have already, announcing my schedule for live shows for January. Thank you so much for watching, keep smiling and stay positive.